Welcome to Learning Reaper. I'm your host, X.E.L.O. And today what I want to do is actually show you how to actually use Cakewalk by Bandlab sounds and effects inside of Reaper. Let's go. All right, so what you want to do is actually go to the link below in the description of the video, and it'll take you to the Cakewalk site. And basically you just hit this download here. Unfortunately, it is only for Windows. So if you are a Mac user, I'm sorry, it's not an option for you at this time. So basically you just come here and you download Cakewalk, and you'll be able to get the add-ons that comes with it as well. So let's get into Reaper. All right, so here we are in Reaper, and this theme is called Reaper Tips. So let's see if we can find some Cakewalk products. So I'm gonna right click in here and I'm gonna go to insert a virtual instrument or track. All right, so looking at the Cakewalk list, you have some DXI ones and you have some VSTs and some VSTi instruments. A lot of these instruments are no longer available, and unfortunately, I believe they got rid of the TTS1. So if you are just downloading Cakewalk as of today, I'm sorry, they took it away. There's nothing else to say, but sorry. So no TTS1 for you, but I will show that in this video. You also get the other DXI stuff in here. You will not get the reverb. It will not work inside of Reaper. What I'm really excited about is actually this VX64 vocal strip. You actually are able to use this inside of Reaper. So if you're a person that does vocals, this is the actual vocal strip. It'll basically have like a compression, some reverb, delay, a way to EQ it, all from this one plugin. So if that is something that you're interested in, I would definitely suggest to get that. So I'm sorry to show you guys all these things that are not going to be in there, but there are things that will be in there, like this SI bass, this SI studio instrument drums, studio instrument electric piano, and the studio instrument strings. These definitely will come with Cakewalk when you actually download it. So those are the ones I'm kind of going to go over in this video. So let's go. All right, so I have the studio bass, and this is what it looks like. So this is the studio bass. I think it's pretty cool. So you have options to kind of have patterns and grids on here. So if you go to like, let's say pop 1, right? So those like little grooves that they've made, and you can basically drag it down here and then click the button to, launch those sounds. And if you come up here to where it has like the program stuff, you can click on here and it'll show you all the different types of basses that actually comes with this Cakewalk bass. And I think that's really cool that they give you all these options in there for different basses as well. And if you double click it, it should load up that bass. Right. So you have the option for your volume. You can pan here, give it more bass, more mids, more tremble. This is like your level to tell you where it's at. The more red it is, the more louder it is, right? You have an option to do a drive, and you have a compression on here as well. You have this pick section, so you can actually change it to like more of a picked sound. Right? You can do mono or polyphonic, and you also have a sliding option here, and you get an option to tune the guitar right down here as well. So I think that's pretty cool. I really like the fact that they kind of set all this up that way, and you can always play the stuff here, right? So that is the bass. So here is the SI drum kit. Right, so you have your options to tune each one of these drums right here. You get an option to pan them on here as well. And here is your volume for those drums. Right, so if you wanted to have like a little, if you wanted to play one, you can go to here. Let's say, let's do clean, right? right? So you have the option to kind of do patterns on this one as well. And if you want to change your drum kit, you can go up here and change your drum kit to a different one, which is also really good, that you get a chance to actually change your drums. You don't have to have the same kit, right? So you have all these different options if you wanted to use those different drums. You also get an option to put compression on it and some reverb. And here is the overall volume of those drums. The one thing that I don't necessarily, I wouldn't say don't like, I feel like they should have made is some outs for the drums so you can actually send them to separate tracks automatically. Like that is the only like downfall I feel of this plugin. So here is the electric piano, right? And once again, you still have an option to kind of do a little playing, right? And you get to hear what it sounds like. And you also have that drop down. You can change the sounds of it. There's some really, really nice ones inside here. Some tremolo ones. Really, really nice option that you have. So you have an option to do a drive and you can change the depth of it. So you can just hit on this button, and once you see the red light means that the drive is actually on, and you can always change it to whatever percentage you want it to. Here is your chorus for those, and also the tremolo. So you can also add more tremolo to your tracks. You get an option to tune right down here, and you can add your tone, pan, volume, and here is the levels for it. Right. Last but not least, this is the SI strings. And I think they sound really, really good. So you get an option to have a bass, a cello, and a violin, right? And you get to pan them if you want to pan them in different directions. I think that's really cool in the fact that you can kind of make this more like an orchestral setting by panning them to where you need them to be inside of your setup, right? And you have your attack here. So basically this is how fast it'll actually come in. You have your release. This is the master volume right here in the middle. So here's your chorus. You can actually add the chorus if you wanted to on here. You have your reverb, you have a tone, and you have a tune on here as well. And right down here, it tells you the sections for where those strings will actually play. I think that's always really cool. And once again, like I said, you have that option to kind of use right. And if you wanted to use these, you can drag and drop it into the track. So really, really dope options that you have to use the Cakewalk Studio instruments. And once again, you always have more sounds in here for different types of strings, however you want it to be, right? So you have a symphony one. And they have a whole bunch of different ones in here that you can use. Definitely go through them, check them out, and see which one works for you. And I'm going to pull up the TTS one. This one used to come inside a Cakewalk. It no longer does. It is basically like a Rompler, like the old kind of like Yamaha sounds and things like that. This is what you would use if you had like a MIDI template, and you can use this and it'll actually play all the sounds of that template. All right. So right, and that's the piano on there. And I don't think the piano or anything is like really bad. It's just like a more of a stock kind of sound. You have different user presets on here that you can actually use and set your own. So you can load up a bank or you can save a bank, right? So if you made one where you have a whole bunch of different ones on here, you can actually save them on this TTS one. Like I said, unfortunately, this is no longer available, you know, and it also has like a drum set, some effects, some percussive instruments, synth effects, synth pads, reeds. So it came with some interesting sounds that you can kind of use inside here. Let's see. Let's do a brass, right? Right. So really, really interesting tool that they did have in here. Like I said, unfortunately, this is no longer available, so I'll probably stop showing it now. But you do get all the older Cakewalk, old like DXI effects. So if you needed to add like effects, you can add those effects on there. But this vocal strip is what I wanted to kind of show you guys. And this is what it looks like. This is the vocal strip. So it has a doubler on here, so you can kind of double up the voices. It has some saturation that you can add to the voices, a de-esser already built in. This one is a compressor here, so you can kind of change your threshold and settings for your compressor. It has a tube equalizer, which is pretty cool, right? And then you have your different ways of actually doing the delays. You can actually have it sync, or you can have it not sync, either way you want to do it. And then over here, you can change the way it's set up, the routing. So if you wanted, you know, this to be first or anything else to be changed, you can change the order of where you have all these things going through the chain. And of course you have a saturation going out as well if you wanted to. So I think this is really cool. And it also has some presets in here that you can use if you're not, you know, familiar, or you want to actually get more familiar with how it actually works. It has a whole bunch of different ones in here for different vocal types, and you know, different tubes and things like that. So I think that's really, really cool. And I'm glad that you can actually use this inside of Reaper as well. All right, so what I'll do, let's make a quick beat in here and see what we can come up with. All right, so what I'm gonna do is randomize velocities on these. Boom, let's duplicate them over. All right, so we're gonna use this rim on here. So I'm gonna duplicate these over, right? Let's do the kicks. All right, so I just have some basic drums on here. I'm gonna add another kick here just to give it a little bit more flair at the end. Right, so let's see if we can add some keys on here. I'm just going to grab this one, drag it down to the strings. And for the strings, we're going to remove these bottom notes. Right. And let's go. And then what I'll do is grab this one, drag it up to the bass. So we don't want the bass notes on here. So let's take these out, right? All right. So I was able to add the bass, and I just added a couple more notes in here, like some, basically like a kind of like a passing notes in a way. What I want to do is probably have them actually slide and see how that sounds. Maybe even give it a little bit more mids, on there. right, and what's really cool about Reaper, you have the option to separate these drums. So if I wanted to separate this SI drums, I can right click on here and I can go to item processing. And then when you want to go to here where it says explode MIDI item by note row, right? So basically it's going to separate it by whatever pitch you actually chose. So here's my hi-hats, here is my snare, and here is my kick. And then what you can do is just grab SI drums, just kind of put them on each one, and then they'll have their own little settings where you can kind of change the velocity and things like that on there. So, and for this top one, we can disable the SI drums. So if we need to lower anything, right? So that's really cool. And like I said, really nice sounds that you can actually get from Cakewalk. I think the strings one is definitely a must get. I really like the strings. I've used them on several tracks that I've actually put out there. But with that being said, that's pretty much the end of this one. Like I said, the link is below in the description. If you do have Windows and you don't have Cakewalk, I don't see why you don't. You should just get it. Cakewalk by Bandlab currently is free and it may be going away soon. So jump on it while you still can. All right, and with that being said, make sure you guys are liking and subscribing to the channel. I'll be having some more VSTs that you guys can actually look into on this channel as well. But until the next time, I want to thank you guys for watching, learning Reaper. Till the next time. Peace.
Hey you, yes you. YouTube wants you to watch this video next, man. Go ahead and click it. I'll wait. Nah, I'm just playing. I'm not gonna keep waiting here. All right, I will see you in the next video though. Peace.